You're listening to From a Certain Point Askew, the only Star Wars podcast to promise you that the bad times are over. The resistance is no longer futile, well, except for today. Well, for some of us. But we'll get into that. Who am I? I'm just an angry Ginger Jedi guy, broadcasting live from inside of my very own Wookiee Poo Studios. I'm not alone. At fault here, and secondary on mic is Darth Mathias, the one that had the great idea for us to cover 2 seasons of Resistance. He is unforgiven. I did not quit. How are you, sir?
Team Colossus.
It didn't blow up.
Did you even watch?
I gave it away. Shit. I may have watched a few episodes.
All right. Well, we'll go through them.
Oh, we don't have to.
You never have to talk about it again. Well, that's not necessarily true, but in this depth. Are you in a little bit better mood this week, knowing that the end is
I'm in a good mood. Yeah. All right. I think I got it all out last week. I think it's well known at this point. The internet's aware that I did not like this series, so I'm gonna have a little fun today. I think I won't vent or gripe or cry too much.
For the record, a lot of people enjoyed Angry Jay last week.
Did they?
Really enjoyed you going off on it, so it wasn't a bad thing.
Good, because I enjoyed it too.
Oh, by the way, quick shout out. I got to give a shout out to the Arthurian historian. Poor guy. He's in Vermont. You know what's going on with the weather in Vermont right now? I
have no clue.
Oh, they've been getting hammered with floods. Like, he literally couldn't leave his house.
Really?
His basement was flooded. The roads in front of his house were like totally... it's bad news bears.
Do you think he could use his Euthorian face mask as a flotation device?
He might be able to, and he might have to. But he basically looks like he's on fucking Camino right now. Unfortunately,
oh boy,
poor guy. So I hope things dry out quickly.
Knowing that crazy bastard, he's already got a lab set up in like the second bedroom trying to clone something. So
that, or he's probably out in a canoe right now, floating around town, like with the mask.
With
on.
the mask.
Hey,
on.
Can I help you? Throwing Slim Jims at people. If you would like to find our show from a certain point of skew.com or on Twitter at FACPA Pod, also on Threads, FACPA Pod. And you can email the show, FACPAPod@gmail.com. And a lot of you did this week, and we really appreciate it.
God, I'm in love with the listeners this week.
Yeah,
I have nothing bad to say. All around. Great people. All of them.
They are.
Now, if this is one of those things where 7 emails from the same person again, then you're going to have Angry Jay come back. But all right. All right, you promised.
They're not. It is different. Everything's different. You're going to be pleased. What's on the show?
Oh, on the show today, we've got a question of the week. Thrawn's first line. I was going to make a sexual joke there, but I held back because I'm a reborn Christian. News. Ahsoka trailer. Star Awards. Bob pumps the brakes as actors go on strike. That'd be Bob Iger. I got a few things to say about that fucking pompous bastard right now. Star Wars Resistance Season 2, 11 through 19. We're spending 4.5 minutes on it. It's over. Maul Bag. 6 emails and 2 voicemails in the FACPA Answering Machine. Listeners, you came through. I love you. Let's do this. Question of the week, sir.
Yes, so I asked in Ahsoka,
there you go.
Thrawn walks into the room for his opening scene. What do you want his first lines to be? Wrong answers only. And we got a lot of great responses.
We did.
First up, Brown Leader from Hyperspace Heroes, who we'll get an email from later as well. He says, who does number 2 work for? Austin Powers.
Who does number 2 work for?
You work that turd. What does he say?
Oh.
I can't remember.
Bite your lip, buddy. Bear down and give her hell.
There's a lot of Austin Powers references this week. I'll let you know now. The next is from Andrew Fantasia. Great name. I am the very So I had to look this up because I wanted to make sure I got it right.
Is this a song or something?
It's from the Pirates of Penzance.
Is that an episode?
No, that's a musical.
Okay, so it is. Okay, I thought this was a song lyric.
Yes, and the part that he sings is it goes really fast. He goes, "I am the very model of a modern major general." Yep. So that was
okay.
Ro from Scarif Scuttlebutt just says "sup." Now that would be disappointing.
Thrawn walks into a room. Sup?
Sup? Ray Gun Richards says, "Captain." Sloopin' Fred says, "Sup, bitches." Now that would be. I mean, they do swear a little bit. We got some swear words in Andor.
That's true.
So you never know. Brian Hour says, "Captain Paleon. Is the Chimera ready for battle?" That's just a full Heir to the Empire poll right there.
You're supposed to make ship, right? To make the Chimera.
Yeah. Yeah, it is the name of the ship. And then this one's tough to read. The Max Rebo Experience. My name is Mithra Nurodu. No road. I cannot say that name at all. That's Thrawn's full name, apparently.
Yes, it is.
You killed my father. Prepare to die.
I like that.
Yet another Star Wars podcast says, "Where is Ezra with my muffin?" That was pretty good. Then our buddy Mike Laybourne. The opening scene will be the Chimera dropping out of hyperspace as Thrawn punches a Purgle in the face.
Oh.
He then straightens his collar, walks to his office, takes a look around, and just says, "Elementary, my dear Vanto," and picks up his space violin. Fade to opening credits.
Okay.
Frank in the fandom says, "You're probably wondering how I got here. It all started with..."
Oh, nice. Like the TikTok thing?
Right.
Yeah.
Then you've got Leonardo Oliveira with the little hello there from Ben Kenobi. It said, with that calm and intense Lars Mikkelsen voice. I can't do that voice very well. Hello there.
Yeah.
And then finally, our very own Angry Ginger. We're out of toilet paper. Guys.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like a panic. No one's expecting like a panic Thrawn to open the show.
Where's the plunger?
That's why he's so blue. He's been holding it in.
Oh, no. Thank you for all the answers. Appreciate it. All right, to the news. So, Ahsoka. Last week we talked, and I bitched about how Elon Musk ruined the special look for Ahsoka.
I know.
But then we got this little special look that showed Rosario, like back in it kind of showed her path to how she got the part. Showed her back in 2017 talking about it on Good Morning America and kind of all the way up until now. I thought it was a cool look at it, but I was kind of course, like you, was kind of hoping for more footage. We kind of watched it and thought, well, there's nothing crazy new that we saw. There was a little bit of the behind the scenes of her filming, but it did also remind me the cool reveal they had in The Mandalorian when she showed up and it fucking light up her sabers, and we were all like, holy shit. So that was kind of nice. But it was like, in the end, it was like, that was it? That was all we got?
Right, because the bits they shown from the trailer were the bits that we'd already seen. So really, it was just like the flashback lead up of Rosario getting the role, which is cool.
Yeah.
And I had said to you, I said, like, that's a good marketing push for like people who aren't aware of this as much. Right. For them to play out over the world, because when she's in makeup, they might not know who she is. So no, it worked. But I'm glad. What is it? 2 days later, we got this.
The next day.
Oh, it's the next day. Okay.
Yeah, literally the next day, the trailer drops, and I was actually had to go to the office that day, and so I saw like something trending or whatever, and I was like, oh shit! I sent you the link, and I was like, I need to wait till I get home to watch this properly. Holy fuck! Like, where do you want to start? Because there's a lot of shit going on in this trailer, an extension of some of the stuff we saw before, but like some new shit as well. Well, the first off, is just that we're gonna get 2 episodes. Which
that's not where I wanted to start.
Okay,
thank you.
Go ahead, start. You start. Asshole. I'll get it out of the way for you. 2 episodes drop on August 23rd. And I do like that they've done this a lot.
Yeah, so it wasn't a surprise, but it was also like, oh, we're getting 2 episodes.
I think it makes sense, especially on a new show, to put you into that show a little bit deeper before they give you the week break. I mean, because with like Andor, they did the whole first arc.
Yeah. Do you think like almost all of the trailer beats are just the 2 episodes? I hope so.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's what we normally get. And so if that's the case, holy shit, is there a lot going on in the first 2 episodes? I mean, there might be some stuff that happens later, but otherwise, there's a lot of stuff that they show here.
Yes.
The Baylan and Shin characters are the most intriguing to me. I mean, that duo just ripping shit up and smoking fools left and right, I think is going to be so entertaining.
Yeah, I would say this is not their first takeover of a ship of any kind. They show up, they let the world know they aren't Jedis, and they then just pursue to murder everybody in their path.
Now, do you think this is them rescuing that magistrate?
I do.
That's what I'm assuming it is, right? The other thing is they show them later, all 3 of them, hanging out in that little kind of open space. It's not really a temple. It's like
Star Wars Stonehenge. Yeah.
Star Wars Stonehenge. There you go. And I don't think that's meant to be, because that's not really the world between worlds. So that must be something else. We've obviously been talking about how we might see World Between Worlds at some point, and literally like the design of the Ahsoka poster art and stuff looks like that.
Well, when they show Ahsoka drop down into that temple and she looks on the wall and sees like that golden orb stuck into the wall, is that golden orb what is feeding it looked like the 3 of them, they have that. Is it in the rock or it's something, right? But also like I saw someone on the internet say something, so I looked it back up, and there's like a green flame coming up, and then so I just assumed it was like a hologram, and then that hologram was like being projected over this dome to be like a map, right? And I think they're looking for like Thrawn, but it looks like maybe that device is what was feeding it. So I'm not sure. I don't know if it's either because someone was thinking that she was one of the Night Sisters. Or
yes,
that
I saw that theory.
And that makes sense. She kind of has the look. It'd be interesting. And this is Filoni, so I feel like he's going to bring a bunch of that lore that he had brought to both Rebels and Clone Wars into this series.
We have yet to see the Night Sister thing in live action, so it'd be cool to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be really cool. As far as the stuff with Ahsoka, it kind of gets into. I mean, it shows the stuff with her and the Inquisitor, which I think we can get into when we do our preview. We can try to get into who we think that Inquisitor is, because there's a lot of options out there who that.
It's Ezra.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of cool stuff with Sabine this time. The whole Master Ahsoka thing was really interesting. I mean, she was trained by Kanan back in the day when he was training her for the Darksaber and all that stuff. And and she's held a lightsaber before, so we know that that's something, and we know we've seen it in the trailer before. We see it's coming. Obviously, her having some sort of beef with Ahsoka, like kind of pissed at her. You know what I mean? That's
right. She was sort of left behind, like no longer training, but yes, Master. Now, only because I'm thinking this now, and I don't want to lose the thought, but Ezra's lightsaber wasn't green, right?
No, it was. The second one was.
Oh, that's okay.
The first one that was like the weird like staple gun thing.
Right, yeah, the staple gun. I love that. That's right. Okay, because
that was blue.
Okay.
This one, but his second one was green. Yeah.
Because she uses a green one at the end, so I was like, wait a minute here.
She does, but what's interesting is, so you see her fighting Shin, that blonde gal, with her longer hair. Then you see the scene of her doing the full Kanan knife cut of the hair off.
Yep.
And that's the hair we see her with in the epilogue of Star Wars Rebels. Mm-hmm. And you see her fighting Shin with the short hair. So she must fight her twice with the different haircuts. Going in and coming out of the salon. And then she's also, you see a little bit more of her, the Ezra bit. And it sounds like basically she's just like listening to his motivational tapes.
Yeah, like it's almost the same speech he gives in the end of Rebels.
Yeah, it's a bit like that.
It's similar. So I don't know if they're just, from a certain point of skew.
Could be. Yeah. Altering it a little bit. Yeah, that might be the case. But there's a lot there with Sabine. Her character is going to be really interesting, and all the stuff it's just the dynamic with her and Ahsoka, and then of course, obviously, the whole Ezra thing.
And I like to see, I like the dichotomy between the two, like dark Jedis, whatever you want to call them, right? Mm-hmm. They seem to work like with swiftness. They are a team. They look and sound like they actually respect each other and get along. And then our two heroes are the ones that are sort of at odds with each other.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then Hera, you see Hera, a little more Hera. She's talking to the New Republic, your gal Mon, like basically saying like we gotta try to avoid war, essentially.
Right. Let's not steamroll over her.
Okay, sorry.
I'll take a minute.
She did an interview recently where she was talking about how excited she was to be called in to participate in the Ahsoka show. Yeah, but she was like, I kind of was over there filming for a minute. She kind of made it sound like it's just a little bit part.
Oh, right,
so maybe we only see her. Maybe we only see her in hollow form throughout the show, and that's about all we get of her. I'm not sure. And then you see her flying, Hera, and then flying past the Purgles. So we see the big. Those Purgles are fucking huge.
I know.
And then it's Hera who tells Ahsoka like, there's somebody who could help you, and she's talking about Sabine. So that whole conversation happens before she goes to see Sabine. So there must be. Based on all the timing and all the stuff that's happening and the fact that she goes and visits Sabine with the long hair first and all that, they must go back a little bit and then bring it up.
Yeah, I think so. I'm thinking the same thing. Yeah. They're filling in a little bit of gaps here.
Yeah. How about Thrawn? I thought he looked fucking great. The red eyes.
He looks great. And we haven't heard him though, right? At least not, because we've only heard.
Just the toilet paper line.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
He would say it not in a panic. It would be that convoy.
I want to hear Thrawn went to duty. We have no toilet paper.
I like triple ply toilet paper.
I only turn this shade of blue when I can't wipe my ass.
The only other thing I was going to note there about the trailer was there's that one shot where you see, I'm assuming it's Sabine, but in like the Mandalorian helmet, shooting at somebody. I'm not sure what that whole piece is about. So that's another little bit that is interesting. So there's, like I said, there's so many fucking things. If that's only the first 2 or 3 episodes, my God.
I'm like, first of all, blown away. Like this looks like I was telling you, it looks like they gave it a movie budget. Like there's no, this looks like a volume. The way the camera's moving, everyone. This just looks like it's come together like chef's kiss. I have no complaints.
And you would hope that means this is what we're gonna get more of this in the Filoni movie.
Right. Oh yeah. I'm all on board. I'm upset. I'm glad that we're getting 2 episodes right away, but then that takes a week away, and I just want more. I already want more.
Right. What did they say? I can't remember now. Was it 8 or 10? 8?
It's 8 episodes, so it'll be 7 weeks.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Anything else on the Ahsoka trailer? We'll obviously get into it more later.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to hold back here because I'll
just hold back.
Yeah, I'll hold because this is the part I'm excited for. But we got to go take a dump on this show, so I'll be quiet.
Star Awards.
Yeah.
Something we're not accustomed to seeing, at least lately, with Star Wars getting a bunch of award nominations, especially with, the TV shows and all that. So the Emmy Award nominations came out, and they've got, of the 3 shows, Kenobi, Andor, and Mandalorian, they got 22 nominations.
That's insane.
It's a lot for sound and cinematography and editing and all that stuff, but there were a couple biggies. Kenobi for Outstanding Limited Series.
Mm-hmm.
And then Andor for Outstanding Drama Series, which is a big one. And of course, they're going up against like Succession, Last of Us, Better Call Saul. Good luck.
I think it has every right to be on that list, though. But I mean, totally. it's a who's who of like fantastic shows on that list, though. White Lotus. What else was on there? There was what was it? It was like 8 or 10 TV shows in total.
It was, and it was a lot of the same. And yeah, let's talk White Lotus and all that for a second here, because 0 actor nominations.
Yeah.
How?
You know what? The White Lotus, like, I wouldn't say there was like amazing acting. I thought what's his face from The Sopranos did a really good job in that. But it's the story and it's the way it's put together. Actually, what's her face?
Well, sorry, no. Let me hold on. I'm sorry. I misled you there. White Lotus has a fuck ton of nominations.
Yes, because now that I'm saying that,
Andor has none.
3 people.
They have. It's like everybody. Everybody on that show is nominated.
I know. It was Theo James. It was.
I'm forgetting
a
everybody.
hot dog. Her and then who's the other one that I saw?
Well, Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that she was nominated.
Jennifer Coolidge, right?
Yes.
The gal who played the hotel manager.
Okay, didn't see her.
The wife of. The other wife, the other gal that was one of the couples.
That was the 3rd one I saw.
All of them nominated. All the guys it's everybody's fucking nominated. And then of course you go to Succession, everybody's nominated.
And 3 for the first time ever, 3 best actor from a TV show. And that's never been done before.
And no offense to like Kieran Culkin, but like he's kind of playing himself. He's great, but he's kind of playing himself. Have you ever seen him in an interview?
You think he's that douchey?
Not that douchey, but he's kind of got that vibe.
Have you watched Succession?
I've only watched the first 2 seasons because we were just getting through them now, and I'm halfway through.
He's next level in season 4. Like he is by far. I think he deserves. Like the funny thing is like everyone's Jeremy Strong, and I think he's a good actor, but I hate his fucking like whiny like I don't know. His character just pisses me off.
Well,
Kieran Culkin was fucking great, and Brian Cox I'd watch do anything. Like he's fucking awesome in that show.
Yeah. I mean, and with Kieran Culkin, I think he's great the first 2 seasons. It's just that he starts to almost become a little bit of, it feels like he's overdoing it a little bit at times. I get what you're saying about Jeremy Strong. The first 2 seasons, the whole thing with Jeremy Strong's so weird anyway, because it's like, I'm watching his character and it's like they for like 3 or 4 episodes in a row, they'll make you almost empathetic toward him. And then you're like, oh no, remember, he's a total shitbag.
Yeah, he's a total ass. Yes. Yeah, they do that with everybody.
And all those people suck. All those people are fucking awful.
Yeah, you have to like awful people. You have to at least like watching awful people.
Well, and White Lotus isn't that much different. It's it's watching a lot of horrible people.
So first I want to call out the fact that I had a complete brain fart thinking no one was nominated. And then like all of a sudden I wake and I was like, oh yeah, no, there were people nominated. And of course, apparently all of them were nominated. But
I misled you because I mentioned White Lotus and then I said none of the actors.
But nobody.
I was talking about Andor. How do you not nominate any of the people from Andor though? Like there were a lot of big performances there.
What was it that I saw for Mon Mothma?
Genevieve O'Reilly got nominated for some other award. I don't know if it was like SAG Awards or something. She got nominated for something
you're right.
else.
Okay, yeah, yep.
But and Diego Luna's been nominated for other stuff too. But I'm just thinking like, how do you not? Are they still in Skarsgård?
That's the shocker. What? I mean, that speech that he gives. Emmy award winning right there. Now, of course, everyone, outside of the Star Wars world is like, what does this shit mean? What is it, like Han Solo when he's yelling at George? What does this shit mean, George?
Right.
But I would give the award for sure.
Fiona Shaw was great. Andy Serkis was great. I mean, I just don't understand how you don't nominate any of those people, but whatever. It's good to see them get recognition, though.
But it did. Andor got the most recognition, right?
No, Mandalorian got 9.
Oh, was it Mando?
Yeah, Andor got 8. But a lot of it, like I said, it's visual effects, it's editing, sound mixing, it's a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yes, yeah.
So some writing, a couple writing. I think the No Way Out, or not No Way Out, One Way Out. Sorry.
Yep.
No Way Out. No Way Out. Good movie. But no, One Way Out was the one that got nominated for writing.
Yes. Swim. That's the way out.
I can't swim. It's just so funny going back on that scene and him going, I can't swim.
Right.
Because he's like, he can barely get the words out. Poor guy. Let's talk about your boy Bob. What about Bob? So he signed on for 2 more years at Disney. And I think that might have been met with some level of positivity until he started making comments about the writer's strike and the actor's strike and saying how they're being unrealistic. And he's like, well, I understand they want to be compensated as much as possible. But, like the nature of the current business environment, they're being unrealistic. Bob? Yeah. Do we want to look at your financials?
The reason they're striking is because of the nature of the current fucking situation.
Right. Yeah, it's the world's changed. I mean, obviously the big demands with the actors are kind of in line with the writers. It's a lot of, don't replace us with AI.
Yeah.
Pay us our residuals for fucking streaming.
Well, and the big thing is don't forget, like, not every actor makes a shit ton of money. Right. There's and writers, and there was a couple of the writers I was following that even, when they come in and you used to be able to make a living wage if you were in a writer's room. And now they have them come in, they break the story, they get like 4 weeks of work, and then they're gone. And then the lead, I think we talked about this, the head writer kind of takes care of everything after that, so nobody's making any fucking money, and the networks are getting away with all this. What I saw today was that they want to have them on their new contract. Now, I don't know if this is just people making shit up. I didn't look into it much. I just saw this on Twitter today, was that when they sign like these actors that are background actors or whatever, they actually sign their life rights so they can digitally use their faces in anything in perpetuity.
Right.
Ridiculous.
Could you imagine like 10 years from now, you did this one tiny thing where you're in the background of something, and 10 years from now, you're there again?
Mm-hmm. Or what happens if you become a famous actor 10 years from now? And now they're making movies with you still. They own your rights. So they can just be like, starring Bradley Cooper. And he's like, no, it's not.
Yeah, I always think about that with like extras and stuff. When you look at, I don't know why Saved by the Bell came to mind, but like when they're at the little diner at Saved by the Bell, there's always like 30 kids in the background.
Yes. And
they just have to sit there and have a bullshit fake conversation where they kind of mouth words and stuff and keep quiet. What a weird role.
It's only, I think it's like $50 a day to do that, and then speaking lines, if they're not SAG, it's like what, $150 if they're in a scene and they say something. But that's probably where they get you, right? Like if you have a SAG card, maybe then they can't use your face without being paid, or you get the rights back to your face. But what a silly thing! Like
the rights back to your face.
Yeah, you need to have a lawyer.
I just like the fact that there'd be people who extras like thinking ahead like that and going, I should join the SAG, and the SAG's like, what are you bidding now?
Yeah, exactly.
You could apply. I don't know how that process works, but I don't know.
I think you have to have. I think you can have one speaking role to your name before you have to have a SAG card if you're offered another role.
What if you want to join the SAG and you don't have roles? So they just like, sure, if you want to give us money, sure.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
I think there'd be a lot more people signing up for the SAG.
Well, we should join the Writers Guild, for this show.
I think so. Yeah.
So Bob is coming across not so great here.
Yeah.
The man makes what, $30 million a year plus all the other shit?
And I'm sure that's the funny thing is all these people are asking for raises. And then the day he signs a 2-year contract, there was a raise built into that. He's like, these people are being ridiculous. Oh, are they, Bob? Like, I've always been on Bob's side, but he kind of pissed me off today.
Yeah, it's not a good look,
right?
No matter what. It just comes across kind of shitty. So, and it's pissing a lot of people off, I'm sure. But And this is, of course, going to affect everything. Because now, I mean, as bad as it was with having the writers on strike, now you got all the actors on strike. And it's like they can't, not only can they not act, they can't rehearse. They can't
They can't be on TV to promote anything. Yeah.
None of that stuff.
Like so it's shut the fuck down.
Totally. So, I mean, I'm glad that the directors are over there like, well, we struck a deal. What are we supposed to do?
They were fucking idiots. What are they? I mean, and they were quick. It was like 3 days and they were
Very
like, yeah,
quick.
we're good. We like what they offered us. Okay.
The writers and the actors are like, dummies.
Right.
We're all supposed to kind of be on this together.
You could have control. Like, now I'm hoping that the actors, and I'm talking about I'm talking about the ones that make money, that I hope they stand up and they're like, you sign the writers first. Let the writers, because
solidarity.
The studios are going to want to get the actors back, and then they can still try to do something. I think they need to hold out for the writers to be able to get back on to work first.
Yeah, and it's obviously it hits people so differently. If you're Matt Damon and you're striking, you're fine.
Right.
But if you're a working actor grinding it out, it's a tough commitment,
Exactly.
I mean, it's probably going to push Skeleton Crew back, The Acolyte back, Bad Batch back. I'm going to assume all those things will be pushed back, unfortunately. It shouldn't affect Ahsoka, obviously, because I think that's pretty much
it's in the can. Yeah.
It maybe stops Tom Cruise from jumping out of airplanes everywhere and being like,
that's
watch
shut
the
down.
movie.
Yep.
Yeah, shut down.
Yep.
So, do you think everyone who bought tickets to San Diego Comic-Con's like Joe Bluth right now? I made a terrible mistake.
No, good pull. No, because I think that they were announcing a couple weeks ago. Most of the studios already were announcing that they weren't even going.
Okay.
So they saw this coming in one way or another. They knew like they weren't. There's I think DC's going with some animation stuff, and there was someone else that was showing up, but for the most part, although the movie studios, they weren't going with anything because they couldn't bring anyone with them.
They should make all those directors show up for Comic-Con.
Right?
Hey, you guys
exactly.
are signed. He also, Iger, talked about Disney kind of cutting back. And we've gone through this dance. You mentioned this at DM. We've gone back and forth on this as far as what they're going to do, where they're going to shift focus.
Right.
All the stuff they've done as far as like getting rid of content that's on Disney Plus, which can be kind of a dirty move for people who, eventually want to get paid from all that stuff.
Yeah.
They said they're going to kind of dial it back on the Marvel and Star Wars content. And what did he say? He said, like specifically about Marvel, he said it diluted focus and attention by doing so many projects. And I can understand what he's saying as far as if you have so many projects going on and maybe it's harder to keep it all reined in, but also for an audience, if you've got so many things coming at you and so many options, it's hard to get excited maybe about every single one of them, unless you're a Star Wars podcaster and you're like, please keep it coming.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I can see. Well, I mean, I don't think he's wrong either. If you look at some of the Marvel TV shows, they were hit and miss. I don't think any of them have been terrible, but I think that they could have definitely been better had they only been doing 1 or 2 a year. Because at one point, was it this year they were gearing up to have like 5 shows? And then
is that what it was?
Yeah.
I mean, because they came out hot, like that WandaVision, which seemed to be pretty well received, like right out of the gate, and then they kind of went from there. But you're right, it's been a bit of a mixed bag since.
Yeah. Although I do have to say, if you're sleeping on Secret Invasion, so far it's pretty fucking good.
So I watched just the first episode so far. We're still a few episodes behind, but it was. I mean, it's interesting. And every time I watch stuff like that, I'm like, Samuel L. Jackson's 74 years old.
God, he's so good in it though.
Yeah, he is good.
It's just watching him chew it up, man. I love Nick Fury.
No spoilers, but the first episode, it's like, whoa, like
you're gonna get a whoa.
Some bad things happened here.
Every episode, you get a whoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, are we trying to shut down storylines here or what? What's going on? All right. Anything else on Bob or?
No. You've heard enough from me, Bob, but it's not over yet.
It's not over yet, Bob.
Yeah.
Okay. It's time to wrap up
Bag.
Star Wars Resistance. Nice try. So, let's see. Overall thoughts on the second half of the season. Lot more First Order action, which I thought was good. We do get some resolution, at least with the immediate threat to the Colossus crew. So you get some kind of, some of that stuff kind of resolves itself to a degree. Get a big cameo at the end, which was a bit of fun. Mm-hmm. At times, I'm watching this show and I'm like, God, these visuals look kind of janky. And then at other times, I'm like, holy shit. So the scenes when they would have like the Star Destroyer come into atmosphere and like burst through the clouds, amazing fucking visuals. Really looks sharp, good stuff. But there were other times where I'm like, that kind of looks weird. Most of all, I'm just glad it's over, so now I can start watching Rebels again and get ready for it.
So am I. I'm so fucking glad. I was the other way around it though. Like I'm watching it and there were times where I'm like, you know what? We were spoiled with Bad Batch and how just amazing some of the visuals were in that show. I mean, it just shows you like how far, because we've talked about this with the Clone Wars, how far the animation has advanced from Clone Wars to Bad Batch, and then the last season of Clone Wars, and then even the second season of Bad Batch, and then this Resistance turd is just like...
Well, it's obviously a different style, which makes it look... not, but I just thought there were times where I thought, wow, the visuals here look great. And other times where I'm like, God, that looks just like somebody drew it on a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm. You know what pissed me off the most? Was was it the last episode, second to last episode where Yeager's like, was it Yeager? He says, Kaz, you've changed a lot since you've first come here. And I thought, no, he's not. Like 4 minutes later, the fucker falls through an elevator door. Like, I'm like, no. Do the writers not talk to each other? Like, oh. All right. I said I wouldn't do it.
No, that's fine. We're going to walk through this a little bit. So we pick up with Kaz's curse and Mika Great. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that to you. I did watch that episode, though, just to make sure I was doing my due diligence. And you're right. Okay. It was really an unnecessary episode to watch.
Yeah.
Could have skipped that. But we kind of get to pick back up with the First Order. Did you watch all the episodes?
Nope.
You did?
I watched the last 4. I wasn't going to watch any of them. I had 2 hours left of work today, and I'm like, you know what? I feel bad if I'm not doing my part. And then I started looking at the titles, and I was like, I don't give a fuck about this. This is a throwaway. Nope, don't want to watch this. So I clicked on the third to last episode, and then there was something about the fourth to last where I was like, well, maybe there was something about the dark side or what was that one? It was...
Well, did you want me to tell you the episode titles and you could tell me what happened?
I don't care. Like I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I watched the last 4 just so I could be like, yeah, I have to have something to talk to him about. But I did like the idea of you trying to sell me on the ones that I didn't see.
Okay, well, here we go.
All right.
So yeah, episode 11 is here. I got to get the titles for you because I can't remember all the titles. Is it the station to station one? I think that's what it's called. Station to station. So this one, they're kind of picking back up with the First Order Resistance like battle. I was worried at first when Tam and Rucklin at the beginning of the episode go on a supply run. I was like, oh boy, here we go. But it kind of got things moving. And so Kaz and Nico go undercover and they both meet up on this ship that looks just like the Colossus, same exact style.
Okay.
And they're going on there to steal this deflector because if not, like their ship is all the people are going to get like hit with radiation if they don't get this deflector. So they sneak on.
Hold on. So Tam and the other guy, they're going to the Colossus-like ship, and so is...
They run into Kaz.
Oh, how
He's there
convenient.
Already. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
He literally walks down and kicks a droid and goes, ah! So they're wearing engineering outfits, Miku and Kaz, to blend in, and they've got CB-23 there with them, and it looks like they literally got spray paint at the fucking Ace Hardware and just went to try to cover up.
Try to cover his color so he wasn't recognizable?
Right. So, yeah.
Oh, God.
And then there's a point where he runs into Hux.
Yeah.
And Kaz does.
Okay.
And then he's like, you need to show me where this is. And he's like, okay. And he leads him down and runs into Pyre. And he's like, oh, fuck. And he's like turning around. It's just so...
How will I get my way out of this one? Watch and see.
He follows them all the way to the briefing room for no reason. It's like, at any point you could have left.
What the fuck?
I don't know what he's doing.
But remember... We're going to see growth in this character by the next 3 or 4 episodes.
It's coming. Yeah, be ready. Rucklin, a.k.a. Nazi youth Elijah Wood, he catches them in the act in the engineering room trying to steal this thing. And he alerts security, but then Tam sees what's going on and kind of helps them escape.
Okay.
By the way, apparently I didn't know this, and it doesn't really matter in the end because when we were watching, what was it we were watching? Was it Rebels? They would say, like, this was the last episode before... this show came out or this movie came out or whatever. This one, it says this is the last episode prior to Rise of Skywalker coming out. But there was really no crossover in this particular part of it. It does cross over with Rise of Skywalker eventually, but not here. It's not direct.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the end of that. We move on to kind of this 2-part series or 2-part episode where there's this resistance agent and he's a Duros looking guy like Cad Bane. It kind of looks like that.
Okay.
And it's voiced by David Diggs. You know who that is? He was in Hamilton and all that. So they answer this distress call. Uh-oh. Another distress call. And immediately Doza's like, guys, we've done this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's always either a fucking distress call or, oh no, the resistor, the whatever the fuck they are, they found us and we got to warp out of this. I skipped 4 fucking episodes, and the first one I watched is like, oh, they're still looking for him. And they're like on some fucking Waterworld planet with Avatar. And I'm like, all right, what is going on here? I thought I was having a fever dream.
It did kind of look like Avatar.
Yeah.
So they go on this distress call. I almost said stress call.
Mm-hmm.
It's North Kev. That's this guy. That's this agent. And he's like spying on the First Order and like coming up with a list of agents and stuff. And he's getting chased by this bounty hunter named Axe, this fucking huge dude.
All right.
So they question this guy who's on the list of First Order spies, and his name is Leechy, voiced by Fred Armisen.
Okay.
The run of comedian voiceovers continues. So then Axe, the bounty hunter, informs Pyre, like, hey, we got these resistance people here. Like, you guys need to get in here. And he goes to try to fly away with the Duros guy. What's his name? Norath. But they disable the ship. And then we get this, like, Axe versus Iger and Sonara battle, which is actually kind of a cool little battle. But in the end, they lose. And he arrests them, essentially. And then we get some good torture. Now, you missed out on this. Okay. Yeager's getting tortured. Sonara's getting tortured. Tierney's running it. She's like doing they're in the chair and they're getting the...
Oh, okay. Sonara is the pirate that Kaz has a crush
pirate.
on. Okay.
Yes, correct. So then, but then in the other little area where they're doing some torturing, aka interrogating, is Pyre, and he's got CB-23, the droid, upside down, like stuck upside down to this thing, and they're electrocuting it and trying to get all its data. It's like, you fucking asshole. So CB is able to get away. Kaz and Norath are together, and so they bust out Yeager and Sonara. And you think they're all good, but then Axe shows up at their shuttle when they're trying to get away. And CB just continues to be the MVP. CB really turns into the MVP of the last like half of this season.
Yeah.
They knock out Axe. They get the fuck out just in the nick of time. And then as they're flying away, like the Star Destroyer comes in to block their path, but the Colossus zooms in at the last second from hyperspace and essentially gets them and fucks off. So that's kind of that series. We're almost to where you come in. You missed the episode Mutiny, which you would not have liked.
Is this the one where it says the pirates try to take over the...
Yeah.
Gotta have one of those every season.
So Kragan and crew go to meet with his arms dealer, and it turns out to be Sidon Athano, who you would know as the dude who looked kind of like a red devil that Finn meets with when he's trying to get off Takodana.
Okay.
Remember that guy?
Yep.
So he, and also, fun fact about Athano, he was at the Battle of Exegol. You actually see him in the background when they're celebrating at the end.
No shit.
Despite being just like this, neutral arms dealer, he was on board to fight the Sith Eternal or whatever. So he sells him these prequel era super battle droids. So we're prequel nod here.
Wow.
And the Kragan's whole mission is, I'm going to take him back and I'm going to fucking take the ship, right? Well, he gets back and they all don't work. He's like, God damn it. And then there's a B1, the Roger guy that comes out. And they're like, oh, they threw one of those in. So he's got this whole plan. Well, then Doza and Yeager talk to Niku. And they're like, you should go down and check out the pirates. So he goes down and spies on the pirates. They
send Niku to go spy on the fucking pirates?
Correct.
Mr. Captain has to say everything he's thinking out loud and give himself away. It's a good decision.
He comes through because what happens is he goes down there and Kragan's like, hey, I've got these battle droids. Can you fix them? I'm doing this for Doza. And he's like, oh, sure. Yeah, I can do that. So he fixes up the battle bots or the battle droids. He also fixes up the B1. Well, in the process of doing that, he fixes the B1 so the B1 can control all the battle droids. And is on basically on his team, because then Kragan tries to shove him in a crate and go take the ship. And in the meantime, he gets let out by these things. And so in the end, Niku kind of saves the day. At the end of this episode, they capture Yeager and Doza, the pirates. They are literally going to have them do a spacewalk. They're having them walk the plank out of the fucking... So the look on your face is appropriate.
So they're going
to make them walk through the airlock out into space as a death.
Oh, okay. So the airlock wasn't open yet.
No.
Okay. I'm picturing them walking the plank. Like the part that's going to kill them is falling off the plank, not the absence of oxygen while they're out there. Okay.
No, it's he calls it something like a spacewalk or something like that, but it's essentially a walking of the plank. That's what they're doing. But Niku shows up with the B1 droid, powers all the droids down. And in the end, they're just like, okay, you know what? The pirates, you can leave. Get the fuck out. and don't ever come back because we're done.
And now, where was Homegirl during all of this?
Sonara?
Yeah, because I noticed she's been in the last couple episodes, so she didn't take part in the mutiny.
She was helping Kaz. She's on the side of the Colossus crew.
Okay.
So, and there's a funny line at the end because at some point Niku's telling Kaz how he learned how to be a spy from him, and he's like, I wrote down the quote: "As long as you look naive and clumsy, no one will ever know your true motivations."
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Yeah, and also that's Kaz's. Yeah, that's all a game.
Right.
It's a front. Yeah, he didn't mean any of that.
So now we have the two-parter, which is about where you're about to come in. You might have missed the first one, but the Aces go out. They land on this planet called Eos.
Yep.
And the Colossus is like, we're going to settle down. We've been flying around so long, much to your argument last episode. Every time we go somewhere, the goddamn First Order shows up 20 minutes later. So let's go find a place we can permanently, set up shop. So they go to Eos, and the Aces are sent out to do some recon. Kaz goes out with Griff, that dude that wears like the stormtrooper helmet.
Okay.
And they stumble upon this blown up village. And that's where we see these like fish people, whose queen, voiced by, do you hear the queen? Because you saw the queen. You saw that episode.
I saw her, yes, because I saw the second part of this. Voice sounded familiar. Actually, there were a few voices in that episode that sounded familiar, and I was like, Matt will tell me who it was.
Xena Warrior Princess herself, Lucy Lawless.
All right.
So she is just ready to kill all these fools because she's like, you're just like the First Order. Fuck you guys. We're going to kill you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Kaz does a little he uses some of their medical supplies to heal a couple dudes kind of on the sly. And they're like, oh, okay. You're not so bad. We're on board with you. So essentially she welcomes them to the planet. They win them over pretty quickly, conveniently.
Yes. We only got 22 minutes to do this.
Right. They have a limited time frame to do it. Is it like me? Were you ever looking at your the counter on your episode and going, are we close? Like, are we 8 minutes away from the end of this episode?
Oh, yeah. I'd move the mouse because I was watching on my laptop, and I'm like, I got to be halfway through this already.
I'm not going to lie. I use that little fast forward 10-second thing a bit.
I did that a few times. Not going to lie.
Hopefully I didn't miss anything critical.
It's why I'm still here today.
So then Kaz decides, he's like, I got to go fight with the resistance. Like, I can't be just sitting here on the Colossus. Like, I gotta get out there and do some shit. And so he goes to leave. Well, Pyre had sent out some probe droids. This is maybe where you came in. That were kind of like Empire Strikes
Back. This is where I came in. Yep.
Yes, and they spot him, and then the thing attacks him.
Yeah, Kaz decides he's going to leave. He's going to go join the resistance, and he gets the fireball, and he's out of there. And would you know it? He runs into trouble, immediately leaving atmosphere. He's like, oh, there's a droid there, and he has a little fight with him, and then he's shut down, and his little units shot to shit, and he's got to figure out a way to power it back up. And then he decides, we're going to go home and warn them. We're going nowhere.
Right. Because in the process, the droid informed Pyre, and so now the First Order's en route again.
Yeah.
So they show up. The Colossus fires up. They're trying to leave. The Star Destroyer and the TIEs are attacking. The Aces, go out to fight, and the Aosians, I guess is what you'd call them,
sure,
join them. And in that process, they do get away. But in the process, of course, at one point, they go head on to attack the Star Destroyer, and Kaz launches a missile that's about to go straight into the control room, and Tam blows it away.
Yeah. Yep.
So she gets promoted for that.
So she couldn't kill him, but she got the missile from killing the First Order bridge crew. Yeah.
Right. So she's still, again, spite Tam, still 1 foot out the door, but not quite. And then we're in the home stretch now because Vanessa Doza returns, the mom, Tora Doza's mom. Yep. And she is with her Jade Squadron, which includes Hugh, voiced by Sam Witwer.
Oh, okay.
So that's fun. He's doing a real deep voice, though. He's like,
yeah, he
hey,
was.
What's going on, Kaz?
Mm-hmm. We're friends from way back in the day.
I think he was in the first ever episode.
I was wondering if Kaz. He was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think when he loses them.
I mean, I'm not going to go back and look. I'll take your word for it.
I'm not going to look. Pretty sure, though. We'll just say it was.
I mean, if I was challenged with, we will kill one of your children, or you can go back and look, I'd be like, I got 5. Take one.
That's right. You got 4 spares.
Yeah. I'm still good.
They the mission is to transport these ships full of resistance recruits off Dantooine. Nice little reference there. Back to A New Hope. So they take out that scout team, but Pyre gets alerted to it, and they send in, once again, the First Order shows up again, and a bunch of TIEs attack, including Tam and Adolf Rucklan. And so Tam gets knocked out of the fight early, but Rucklan is able to take down one of the shuttles and nearly blows a load in his flight suit. He's so excited watching that shit go down. It's like, oh, can I do it again?
Then Captain Jealous Pants doesn't get a promotion, and she gets another one.
Oh, he's
but
so
I'm the one that
mad.
shot the ship. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, and Lieutenant Garrick meets her end because Vanessa shoots her down. She was kind of the leader of the squadron before.
Yep.
So Tam's now the leader of the squadron. Rucklin's pissed. And then meanwhile, Doza, now fully on board with helping the resistance. He's like, I can't be, Switzerland.
No more running, he decides.
No more running. He tells Vanessa, and I'm assuming they just went upstairs and had the best sex of their marriage because she's giving him the eyes. And I just hope Tora didn't walk in on that. Oh.
He's always hitting some mystical new button on that freaking desk of his. So he probably had like some sex room off the side of the room. The closet next to where his Imperial outfit was. There's a whole room.
There's another, a whole different wardrobe.
Yeah. He had Netflix over there helping build his room.
And that droid of his, 4D or whatever, that thing gets involved.
Oh, yeah. And it doesn't just hold the camera.
No. Very involved. Heavily involved.
You know what I noticed? One of my favorite things is speaking of touching the buttons and opening up, he opens up the control deck at the end of the first season, beginning of the second season, right? And it's above his living room office. So they're all up there. But the only people that run the battle stations are the main people. So when the aces go out to fly, it's just like him and the robot and maybe Iger. Otherwise, the aces are in there running it too. I was like, you couldn't even create like another character, just a background something, or a couple of droids doing something. So stupid.
Do they not trust anybody else? Can we train some people to get involved? I mean, the Colossus is highly understaffed.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's a miracle that it survives. So, 2-part finale. So there's a lot going on. I'm going to try to get through quickly for you. But first of all, the First Order goes back to Eos and goes full Admiral Rampart like on Camino. Just fucking all the Star Destroyers come in and just blow the whole place.
Look at my big gun.
And then guess who shows up in the Hollow?
I'm going to go with... what's his face?
Kylo motherfucking Ren?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, he showed up.
Scar on the face and everything.
I know. Voiced by Matthew Wood, by the way. The guy who does Grievous and all those other things.
Who apparently was talking through both a window fan and a synthesizer.
Well, it was like half between it almost sounded more like when he had the mask on in The Force Awakens.
Yes, really,
like that. Yeah, well, those hollows, bad connection, it never works out that well. He is not happy, Kylo Ren. No. He is pissed with the failure to destroy the Colossus. And he does this like sadistic remote force choke thing where he makes Tierney and Pyre grab their weapons and aim at each other.
Yep. Stands them up. They point weapons. Right then and there, he was touching himself.
Oh, yeah. He was very excited.
He's like, I have all the power. Give me a minute before I decide what your fate is. If I have an O that's over a level 5, I'll let you survive.
Why are you sweating, Supreme Commander? Nothing, no reason.
Stop looking at me while I torture you.
Yeah, you're supposed to look at each other. Make a force look at each other. We've always talked about how they might force touch themselves, so he might be doing this hands-free.
That's true.
And then after witnessing the destruction of Eos, Tam is just fully done. She's finally made the decision. Yeah. I'm fucking gone. I'm out of here. She reprograms one of those mouse droids to help her get into Tierney's office, gets her comlink back. Then she sends this coded message to Kaz and to meet her on Castellon, where we first started. And Kaz and Yeager take this to Doza, and of course, since he just busted a nut for the first time in a year, he's like, sure, that sounds great.
Yeah.
No complaints.
Yeah. You're never going to argue? Not at all.
Not at all. I'm good, man. Why are you smoking? They take a First Order shuttle.
He's walking around in a silk robe. That's exactly his uniform, just thinner and softer.
Right. Same hat.
He turns into Hugh Hefner after he gets laid after 4 years. Anything goes on the Colossus.
Yeah. Do whatever you want. Take her wherever you want. Just don't leave my wife back, please. Still got some more business. So they are going to meet her on Castellon. She does this like ruse about like doing a fake training exercise, whatever. And Rucklin has to go with her. And then they get there and she shoots down the ties because they're trying to actually, kill Yeager and Kaz. They meet up. And then, but Tierney knows. She finds the comlink missing, so she knows what's up. So she sends they come with the Star Destroyer, they attack and pull them in the tractor beam. And then this is an interesting sequence because they pull them in that shuttle and they set the thing to self-destruct. Yeah. Kaz and Yeager duck out through the landing gear and Tam and Rucklin come off and they're being arrested as traitors.
Right.
And Rucklin's like, fuck that. They're on the, what's the name of the place? They're on the
saw what they
Barabesh
did.
system.
I'm not a part of this. Yes, you are.
Yeah, you're fucked, dude.
Mm-hmm.
They make the jump to go after the Colossus. Meanwhile, Iger and Kaz free Tam, head to engineering, send a message to the Colossus that, like, you guys got to get out of there, save yourselves. And meanwhile, Doze is having a little heart-to-heart with all 9 people on the Colossus.
Right. If I could have all the actors with speaking roles, please.
To the front.
Over here.
So he is asking them. He's kind of putting it to them. And they're like, well, let's fight. We got to save our friends, blah, blah, blah. At first, they're like, fuck off. We're out of here. But once they see the message from Kaz, they're like, oh, shit, we got to help those people. Although there's a moment where Tam shows up in the hollow and they're all like, boo. So then Kaz, Yeager, Tam, they get captured by Pyre. Now, did you see, actually 2 things. One, something I forgot to mention earlier was I was talking to Mike Laybourne on DM and he was saying how he's like, this show would have been over a lot sooner if they just shot spies instead of capturing them and leaving them to escape.
Right.
It's like, it's very James Bond-esque.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was probably music to your ears because you're like, yeah, this thing could have ended in like 4 episodes.
It's like Spider-Man catching the villain and just leave him in webbing and fucking on a street lamp and swinging away.
Right.
They're always on the road the next day again.
Finish them. Come on.
Yeah.
But did you see what was behind Pyre when he captures them? They've got like a bunch of AT-ATs, some ATSDs. I mean, it looked like they were ready for an invasion. It was really interesting. It was cool. Like the hangar, which is loaded with shit.
Yes. Yeah.
The First Order arrives at Barabesh, and we get the whole like Emperor vibe where they're like, Yeager, Kaz, Tam, you're going to get a front row seat to watch your friends die.
Right. But we've only got 3 stormtroopers here to protect this whole bridge.
True. The best, like there's a scene, I think it's in one of the episodes you missed, where they have to steal stormtrooper gear to like infiltrate this place. There are stormtroopers fucking everywhere, but every other scene there's barely any anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
They send the First Order sends over like a boarding party to the Colossus and they're battling over there, but Vanessa leads her squad of aces. They attack the Star Destroyer. They're trying to destroy the engines. And fucking MVP CB-23 again disables the shields. So then they just lay waste to that place. And I love that Kylo makes a quick holo call. He's like, I want to just a quick call here to Tierney. So choked to death. Yeah. She was going to die anyway. But he wanted the satisfaction.
You should not have answered the call.
I mean, the second she starts talking, you're like, it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to squeeze one out, if you will.
I love how the one, I don't remember what flight person it is, just keep shooting at the ship. All the shields are up. And then they're like, oh, the shields are down. Yeah, because this fucking robot took them up. They didn't know what was going to happen. They're like, just keep giving them all you got. We got to do something.
Yeah, look busy.
Maybe if you decide you're going to fucking like plant your feet and fight, you should probably have a better plan than just keep shooting at a fucking Star Destroyer with shields up until maybe we get lucky.
It's like throwing pebbles at a brick wall. It's doing nothing. Kaz, Yeager, and Tam just barely get out on the shuttle. The whole fucking place explodes. So that's Tierney dead, Pyre dead, Adolf Ruckland dead.
Yeah.
They're all dead. All those people died. Yep. So we did get a bunch of deaths in the end. And then it just ends with this little like reunion in the Colossus where I'm guessing, Vanessa and Doza just go all night again.
Oh, I hope they do. See, I want to see that episode.
Tor's going to end up with a baby sister in the end of this. Season 3, Tora would have had a baby sister from all the fucking her parents were doing.
Don't even talk about season 3.
Okay. We made it through. In retrospect, this is your best effort at positivity really quickly. Favorite characters?
The credits.
You didn't like Iger? I kind of like Iger.
Yeah, Iger's all right. I like the second BB-8. That bot was pretty cool. Maybe the pirate. I didn't give a shit for any of the aces. I mean, we all know how I felt about Kaz. Nico is kind of cool.
Yeah, Nico was a hit and miss. He could be really funny and he could be annoying as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I did like what they were doing with the Tierney character, how she was just kind of cold-blooded as part of the First Order. I liked Vanessa just because I wanted Doza to get laid. I like CB a lot, the droid you talked about, CB-23. Yeah. She was awesome.
Yep.
Favorite storylines? I'll say this. I did enjoy all the sequel trilogy tie-ins directly, like Hux, Kylo, Phasma stuff. It was cool to see them. Poe, cool to see him.
Yeah, I think the Poe stuff worked best.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Some of the aerial battles were pretty cool. I'll give them credit there. Some of those were kind of fun because you don't always get a lot of those necessarily in every show that we watch. They
tried.
Have that.
They tried. Yeah.
They tried.
Actually, now looking at it, I think the first season was better than the second season.
I think you're right for sure. It was just more interesting.
Yeah.
Building that storyline. And like you said, you're right. I mean, there really was not a lot of character development on a lot of these people, especially kids.
Yeah. And I think like as a cartoon, there was a lot of like the political intrigue, and for a kid's show, they don't give a shit about this. Like there's a million reasons why this didn't work. I mean, give some lightsabers and some cool characters, maybe take an eraser to everything they thought of and start over.
When I was talking to Mike about it, he was like, well, Rebels started out a little bit kind of younger and clunky at times, and it grew with the audience. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, it was only 2 seasons, but like by season 2 of Rebels, they're getting pretty heavy.
Yes. I mean, Vader was there. That's where like Ahsoka fights him for the first time, right? At the
season 2 finale.
But they fight on the second or third episode, right? The one planet that's got it's all shut down. It's got the creature inside and the door's half open. And then Vader shows up, right? And he like throws ships at him and shit.
Now I'm forgetting. I really need to rewatch this. What I'm thinking of is when they're on Malachor or wherever, and they have that big battle where, she shoves Ezra back, and they end up fighting, and then she walks away. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's hard to compare this to Rebels in any way.
Very much so.
Favorite death? I mean, I would say Ruckland, but it was off camera, so that doesn't count. But I did like I went back to season 1. I was looking, and I remember that Red Baron dude, Von Reg, the guy who was the red fucking he was kind of a cool character, and Kaz takes him out in a pretty sweet way. Like that was probably the best death, I think, because
I don't remember.
He cuts through the fucking Colossus and cuts him off and flips around and blasts him.
Yep.
So that's kind of a cool scene. Yeah,
I'll give that one to Kaz. Got lucky.
There you go. Does this whole crew make it to the Battle of Exegol?
I hope not.
Well, it's funny because Pablo Hidalgo says that in that scene, apparently, although nobody's ever really shown any screenshots of this, you see Yeager's ship. You see the Fireball, and you see, I think, Torres' ship at Exegol. So I
wouldn't be surprised if they just pulled from everything and threw it in there.
I mean, there's literally like 10,000 ships there.
Right.
So you can pull from wherever you want.
I mean, keep dreaming, Pablo. They're dead to me.
All right. Well, that is it. Thanks, everybody, for your patience. Jay, thank you for your patience in getting through this series. I apologize. I thought it wasn't going to be quite this bad. It was a chore at times, but we did it. We got through it, and we're better men for it.
This, to me, are we? This is if you let AI write a Star Wars TV show.
So there you go. Case in point, put that before, the arguments that they're having right now. Just be like, do you want a lot of resistance? That's what you're going to get.
Exactly.
Then meanwhile, those writers are saying this and they're like, oh shit, I wrote that.
Yeah. I do feel bad for like, there's genuine people behind this that like, try to put in good work.
They tried.
Just not for me.
They tried. And maybe we should just put it to bed with the fact that this really was much more of a kid's show. The depth was not very deep. It was pretty shallow. Just leave it there, Want to go to the Maul Bag? It's pretty fucking full.
I do.
So email number 1, Brian Hour. Please forgive your humble shill for not mailing in last week. I am not worthy of being in the same room as the mighty Jay the Ginger and his major domo Bib Matuna. My jaw is still on the floor from the Ahsoka trailer. My biggest high points from the trailer: E-Wings are canon, the fighter that flies by Sabine while on the bike. Which is the thing that lands, that she goes underneath, right?
Are all the kids in bed? Can we talk about that ass shot?
The behind shot when she's driving through?
Yeah. And also, like, way to make it look like there's some speed on this bike, Yeah. Like, I mean, it's, great.
Yeah.
Did you notice her helmet in Arabesh? It says Babe.
It does? Oh, I didn't notice that.
And she's got a Lothal cat. If you freeze it, she's got
I saw the Loth cat.
Okay, yeah.
I saw that. But yeah, the translation they're doing from, animation to live action here just looks incredible.
That was the part that I think was like, oh shit, they put the highway in it. Because we'd see that stupid highway in Rebels all the time in all the fights and everything. And then she's racing down it. She's got the EU wing next, I guess EU is extended universe E-wing.
Yes,
but
E-wing.
I loved just seeing that because it put me right into the Rebels cartoon.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, that's all you see in season 1. They're driving down that fucking road all the time. We see Thrawn, Loth Cats, as he mentions, the art on her helmet. Sabine's short hair, fire. Sabine calling Ahsoka master, and Purgles. All good points, Brian. Good shit.
Wonder if Ahsoka's just the Dom.
It could be.
She's calling her master for a completely different reason.
That would be quite a take on. That would definitely not be a show for kids.
No.
Email number 2 from Scare of Scuttlebutt Podcast, Ro. This is actually a tweet, but he responded to my call for Maul Bag, so we'll call it an email. Resistance's 3rd season could have been interesting. Hashtag that's the Scuttlebutt. What do you mean by interesting, Ro?
I'd like to hear this. I mean, I don't want to at all. But no, it wouldn't have been. There's no way it could have been interesting.
I don't know. I think that's a stretch.
Yeah.
Maybe he watched it with his kids and it meant something more to him. I don't know.
Is he the one that wrote in and said you'll like season 2? It gets darker, in which none of it got darker?
That's true. I can't remember if that's him or not. My memory doesn't go that far back.
Okay.
Email number 3 from Brown Leader of the Hyperspace Heroes podcast. Good evening, guys. I'm halfway through listening to the last episode and I'm thoroughly enjoying Jay's Sith level anger and rant over Kaz. Thank you for verbalizing the frustration that I also felt over the character. He is the reason I couldn't enjoy the show. 2 seasons and no character growth.
Yeah.
The Hyperspace Heroes were the ones where I went on and they were just laughing about how much you were tearing apart that Mandalorian episode with Jack Black. So they like me to get angry.
All right. I'll bring anger back next week.
There were parts of the show I enjoyed. The animation, the concept, certain characters like Iger, Tam, and hell, even Niku, but I could not stand Kaz. Resistance was like the sequels. Good components, poorly put together in the end. I look forward to the final wrap-up episode.
I think that's a terrible... No. I mean, the
sequels...
think
I see what he's getting at.
Yeah.
But
that's like a...
I don't think they're on the same level. I think the sequels were much better than Resistance. To quote good old Palps, good. Use your aggressive feelings, boy. Let the hate flow through you. See, he likes you mad. Till next time, boyos. Brown Leader. Thank you.
All right.
Email number 4. This was actually a tweet again from the Max Rebo Experience. We're going to get back-to-back from the Max Rebo Experience. Will we see the Bendu in both the Mangold and Rey movies? A tie that binds sort of thing. Do you remember the Bendu from Rebels? That big, huge fucking moose-looking guy?
Mm-hmm. But he lived in the ground, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was right around the same time she was learning to use the Darksaber.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
He was on that Attalon. I can't remember how you say that planet's name, but he was supposed to be the middle. He was not the light or the dark. He was kind of represented the balance of the Force or whatever. He would never take sides, and Kanan totally called him out for that. He was like, "Hey, you fucking sissy." Yeah. So he just brought the storms down on both of them. He's like, "Well, then fuck you both." Yeah. But he's supposed to be this ancient creature. I'm not sure if he goes all the way back, because Mangold's film is going to be literally like the beginning of the Force. So I don't know.
Maybe he'll be like the size of like a loaf cat in the Mangold movie. Guy. Yeah. He's like the wacky sidekick Disney character.
Before he got jaded. Yeah. It's like a stupid reference, but watched a lot of Flintstones episodes, and then one time they go to the Grand Canyon and it's just this little teeny stream. And they're like, "Oh, that's it, huh?"
Nice.
And then and also for the Rey film, that's kind of interesting because we're going to get some weird crossroads there where she's training Jedi, and what the hell's going on with the dark side? Because essentially the dark side was destroyed at the end of Rise of Skywalker. So what's coming up to fill that void? Because you got to have the balance.
Yeah. I'm hoping maybe some seeds are being laid, as we're going to this Heir of the Empire thing. Also, maybe something is being laid to make whatever work better next.
Yeah.
Instead of them having to reverse engineer everything with these shows.
Right.
And make it better.
Plan.
Something's already there. Yeah.
Right. Yep. Okay. Thank you. Next up from Max Rebo Experience. Why do so many podcasts use voicemail? There isn't much I wouldn't do to avoid making a phone call, and I know I'm not alone. We do have a couple voicemails coming up. Well,
yes,
the emails are great, and we love the emails, and I get it because I will text all day long without before I have to make a phone call. But the voicemails are kind of fun because it allows people to, do their own little bit of podcasting. And also it allows us to play OK Stop, which is always fun.
Yes.
It's like having a conversation.
I see we will possibly be playing that soon.
Very soon. Yes.
Okay.
Finally, email number 6 from Ken Kallenbach. I'm prepared to disappoint both of you here. Jay, because I'm using Twitter as email. Matt, because of the content and or sucks. I'm sorry. What'd you say, Ken? Did you say and or sucks?
Characters never gave a good reason to care about them.
Never a good reason.
Did you fucking watch the trailer or this show?
Ken, you ignorant slut.
Yeah.
Only empathetic stretch was prison. Blonde leader girl was an unqualified idiot. Now you're dogging Vel? Be careful, Ken. Because, Cinta's going to sneak up on you and stab you in the fucking stomach for that comment.
Yeah. She doesn't take kindly to shit talkers.
No, not at all. So was whoever chose her to lead. You mean fucking Luthen? You're going to fuck with Luthen? Ken, check yourself.
Well, the next one's about ready to get him fucking suplexed off his front porch like Jay and Silent Bob. Give your address.
I'm going to let you take this one. Politician lady financier, he's saying it like he's not even going to give her a name, wasn't smart enough to be unsurprised at anyone's actions. All around bad.
First of all,
Ken,
put my wife's name in your motherfucking mouth so I can take it out. I just got to look for my girlfriend.
I know, that was perfect timing. She's like, what the hell are you talking about?
How dare he? Politician lady financier wasn't smart enough to be Look, she's trying to, she's, I can't even speak.
I know.
How do you not get this show? I didn't even go into this show thinking it was going to be great.
It won
and
you
I think
over.
it's one of the best things that Star Wars has done. The writing was fantastic. I saw fucking Screws and Bricks dickhead right today earlier, and he's talking about how the show was slow.
Yes. He said it was slow as fuck, and he was doing, his whole tweet was about how if Ahsoka's more in line with the newer stuff versus like the Lucas stuff, then he's done.
Yeah.
He's just going to go back to doing that. Hey, please.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot. Not you, Ken. I'm talking about Star Wars Theory. Oh. But Ken, we're a little concerned about your thoughts on Andor. It's very disappointing. But hey, everybody's got an opinion.
I guess, yeah. I mean, if you've watched, I don't know, The Sopranos or The Americans, Better Call Saul, even Breaking Bad, like any of these shows that just, they're slow burns, but they are so geared toward character development and growth and writing and just you gotta, and I'm not saying, Ken, that you don't have a brain, but this isn't, and no, I'm saying like Andor's not a show that's just like, this is what we're doing. Right. And it's not paint by numbers. Like this is like, you've got to be paying attention. You've got to maybe be in the know-how a little bit, and you've got to go along with it. And there's so much new to this show. Like I have to disagree with you, Ken. Thank you for emailing. You are still one of my favorite listeners, but I'm going to have to agree to disagree. Fucking talk about her again.
Oh, he's going to do that again sometime just to get a rise out of you. All right. Thank you for all the emails. Now we got a couple of answering machine messages. This first one's very short. It's from your buddy Dan, Deconstructing Dan.
All right.
Here's what Dan says. Let me make sure I got it open here.
Greetings and salutations, FACPA Pod. This is your favorite East Coast Wookiee, Chewbubba, checking in. And I'd like to know, number one, what are your thoughts on all of the Emmy nominations for Andor and the snubs for the actors?
We just talked about it, Dan. Weren't you listening?
We did. We did. And if you didn't hear that part, they all deserve it.
Yeah.
Not
rewind.
the snubs. They deserve the...
Yeah, not the snubs. They deserve
the accolades.
Nods.
Yeah.
And also, what are your thoughts of Ahsoka and the new trailer and the fact that Sabine Wren was apparently her Padawan?
Dan, we just talked about all this.
He's not listening.
He's not listening to the show.
Dan, get your shit together. We've been going for an hour and 11 minutes, and you're like, hey, what do you guys think about this?
He's trying to be the producer.
Yeah.
Those are good questions, Dan. They are. And obviously we covered them already, so we're not going to go over them again. But all right. You know who's coming next?
Yes, I do.
It's our boy RFB.
Hold on, memory card. Let's get through this.
Okay, here we go.
Back the boys. Darth Matthews. And Jay. It's RP.
He almost forgot about you.
So, looking forward to Ahsoka trailer. Whoa. Holy shit.
Yeah.
One of them spoilery places I go. I
mean, did he watch the trailer in that pregnant pause? I'm looking forward to the Ahsoka trailer.
What?
Whoa.
Holy shit.
heard how season 1 turns up. And I'll go put that under my cap.
He's heard how season 1 turns out already. Him and all those doors he's looking behind. You know?
I know. He thinks he's got the fucking space between 5 worlds.
But looking forward to listening to maybe Jay with a forced smile on his face, making his way through season 2 of Resistance. I had fun with it. I liked it. I got hopes for Jay's, but we'll see how that turns out. And I'm looking forward to giving a listen to it.
I can't, give the guy too much grief because this is coming from someone who just got electricity 3 weeks ago.
Still the outdoor plumbing, though.
Yeah, so he's blown away by animation.
Holy shit, guys.
Yeah.
Playlist, whether you're at home with me or with me on my work day. No, that'll be this weekend. What the hell am I talking about?
I don't know.
He's on the spotchka.
Thanks for taking us along on the ride.
He's trying to figure out when he's going to listen to us. Well, we've been recording these episodes at the end of the week and then releasing them at the beginning of the next week. That'll go back to normal soon, but that's probably what he's talking about.
Okay.
All right. So that's what I got, boys. My playlist, my daily playlist, really thin, but I'm grateful for you boys doing what you're doing because you're the reason I do what I do.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Jay and Matt, the From a Certain Point of Skew podcast, is the reason he listens to 150 other Star Wars podcasts.
That's amazing. You know what? Just for that, I think here's what I offer. We will do a 2-parter. So we'll release 2 episodes the same week that Ahsoka drops.
All right. Give him more content to listen to.
Yeah, we're going to give him more content.
Well, you committed us right there. All right.
Yep.
I'm not the one. Well, yeah, I am kind of the one behind sitting by the microphone because I'm a co-host to my good friend Jeff.
Whoa. He's doing his own podcast?
He's co-hosting Jeff?
He's co-hosting Jeff. The podcast is just called Jeff.
It's called Hefe.
Hefe. Well, let's hear it.
In the Blue Milk Cafe. Over the weekend, we put together shows. And right now, we just finished how we saw the original trilogy. We did the past 3 episodes, one at a time. Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and what was going on with us when we was youngins and went to see them.
So I got to write this down. Blue Milk Cafe. What I'm trying to figure out is how long has he been doing this? He hasn't been doing this the whole time.
I think maybe he's saying he's banking episodes before they go out. Is that what I'm getting? Like they started with the original trilogy. They've recorded them.
Or so is this a new podcast or is this an old podcast and he's just jumped on?
Also, I refuse to believe that he was a youngin' when A New Hope came out.
He was already 50?
Yeah. He was already spent a day out in the field fucking tilling with a cow.
And now we're going to get into the Dark Times and the prequel trilogy starting with Phantom Menace come this Saturday. So I'm not just a listener anymore. I'm glad to say that I co-host the Blue Milk Cafe. So
well done.
When you get time, if you want to, go look us up, give us a listen. Okay. But yeah, Star Wars Resistance Season 2. Come on, Jay.
What was that? What was that word? Star Wars Resistance. He is drunk as fuck on this podcast.
I don't have a problem with that. You know what? I'm drinking water tonight covering this fucking show. So I'm glad that someone's wasted.
Oh, no wonder you're not. No wonder you're acting the way you are.
You can do this. You got this. Get it in my playlist. I want to hear it, damn it.
All right.
Love you, boys. May the force be with you. Hey.
Oh, I thought
was he yelling at his bird? He just goes, "Hey."
The audio was supposed to finish with C on the radio. He always says C on the radio.
Oh, okay.
I guess we'll see you on the radio.
Yeah.
Somebody walked in right at the end.
Right.
Hey, he might be dead.
He was midstream when he decided he was going to leave us a voicemail. One of his kids walked in to check on him. You went in there to use the bathroom. We hear you talking to yourself for 5 minutes. What's going on?
Hey, I'm peeing here.
Just doing a wellness check.
Oh my God. All right. That is a power-packed episode. I think we are done. Thank you, RFB.
I think we're finished here. I do want to thank all the listeners for listening and putting up with, my bad attitude last week. I can't promise that it won't happen again. Until next time.
Laugh it up, fuzzballs.
We have spoken.